Hey, we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the big one for us. Born in Buffalo, New York, but raised in Sudbury, Ontario, this person has been a part of a legendary hockey family from the 705 region. He wore the C for the Sudbury Wolves, represented Sudbury at the World Juniors, was drafted by the Buffalo Sabres, and now is currently donning a number 17 for the Minnesota Wild. In his career to date, he has played 575 games, racked up 186 points, and 500 PIMs, baby. The Sudbury way. I love it.
I wish it was points 500 and PIMs were with the last.
Just this January, he signed a 3-year, $9.1 million extension with the Wild. Keep the change. And now is grinding during this 54-game season. One of the only guys to still buzz warm-ups with no bucket, which we love, and a graduate of my high school, St. Ben's. Suck it, Tom. It is our honor to welcome Marcus Foligno to the Behind the Bench podcast on the 17th episode. How you doing?
Wow, that might be my favorite introduction of all time ever.
Yes, so, that's what I was shooting for, baby.
Don't start pumping the tires, Marcus.
Right now, holy smokes! You got her books pumping me up right now.
That's right. Hey, if Minnesota ever needs a pump-up speech guy, I'm there.
Yeah. No, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Doing good, though.
Awesome. So where are you at right now, Marcus? And how's obviously you guys have been on this COVID break. How's that been? And where are you at right now?
Yeah, we're in Anaheim, California right now. We're playing the Ducks tomorrow and then Friday. So what day is it today? Wednesday? Yeah, I'm already confused. I just know off days and game days. That's all I got right now. So we played LA last night, and obviously after the long 2-week break that we had off due to COVID protocol, and unfortunately myself and a lot of other teammates had it, and everyone, luckily and fortunately, everyone was good and healthy after the situation. Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of a whirlwind. You're playing the game, and then you get told you're positive, so it's just like you gotta go to hibernation right away, and yeah, it's just a weird feeling. It's just like you're trying to dodge this sickness, this virus, this whole time, and then you go back to playing, and you get it. My family, my wife, and I have 2 daughters that we're pretty serious about it, and we limit ourselves to going out in public, and obviously we don't go to restaurants and things like that, but obviously grocery store, gas stations, and things you need to go to. But it's inevitable with when you're playing a game against guys who are positive, and you're going to get it. So it is what it is. But we're happy we're past it now. And I think the good thing out of this is now I got the antibodies, so I should be good for quite a few months. And hopefully that leads us into a good playoff run.
That's right. You boys are all ready to roll now into the playoffs. You guys got the armor.
Yeah, we're good now.
Well, listen, Marcus, we really appreciate you coming on. So we're going to go through your career, started right off the hop. And as we go through your career, I got a bunch of memorabilia here. So I'll be showing a little piece here and there once we go through it, because there's some good memories from it. But we'll get it started going right away, and we'll send it over to Tom.
I can't believe, Marcus, that you pumped up Alex's tires this well. Like, he's going to text me after this. He's going to be texting me in the middle of the night that he can't sleep that Marcus said this. So
game over.
It's game over. Such a typical question, Marcus, but the first one I have for you is, like, what age did you start playing?
I mean, I'm going to say 3, but I mean, I think, everyone, obviously growing up in a family like my father playing in hockey, there's always those Christmas skates that you get to go to and things like that. You get to go to the rink. So I think, Nick and I pretty much had skates before shoes, I would say, on our feet. But I mean, really, I think you get into it when you're about 6 years old, where you start, enjoying it a little more and getting, better at hockey and then skating and all that stuff. So yeah, I would say that, I'm seeing Nick's kids right now. He's got a son that's buzzing around now, and it's kind of crazy to see it, because that's how we were. And he's about 5 years old now. So he's starting to play like the actual, the full games and the full ice surface, and not just split up in the 3/4 of the ice surface. So I would say about, 5 years old, you start getting your feet wet and start loving the game.
Wolves better have the scouting report on him right away.
Yeah, he skates like Nick. So, I mean, that's one thing. But Yeah. He's hunched over, and but he's gritty. He's got a nose for the physical part of it, which is pretty funny because he's on the smaller side, but it's good it's fun to watch.
I love it. That's awesome.
You mentioned your brother Nick and your dad, like coming from a hockey family. What was a moment for you on an individual standpoint that you realized you wanted to pursue to be an NHL hockey player?
Honestly, like it's funny because I never really at a young age was like, I just wanted to play hockey and have fun with it. And I got more like I wanted to make it a career probably when Nick played for Sudbury Wolves. I think seeing my brother go through it kind of opened my eyes a lot more to, the professional leagues and what you can do with it. And, obviously you saw my dad play hockey and you see the YouTube highlights because obviously we were young. We didn't really watch. I didn't see much of his, when he played during his career of it. But I just thought that when I saw Nick and the energy and the Sub-Arena has to it and watching your brother who had a good career through it, it just made me want to get to that league and play in the OHL. And then from there, you kind of take it as a job and try to move up. So I would say about like 13, 14 years old, I really took it serious and kind of focused my attention to just hockey. And that's another thing too. Like I played other sports. I love playing school sports. I played volleyball. I played I played everything, badminton. Like I did all that stuff. I never wanted to like just one dimensional. I wanted to kind of play baseball in the summertime and do all that stuff. And I think that helps you as like an athlete too, to stay talented in that ways, hand-eye coordination, stuff like that. So, you see it now where these kids are just playing year-round hockey. I just love playing all sports. And then around 14, 15, I kind of took a little more serious with the hockey side.
Yeah, and you know what? You raise a good point. Tom and I both coach here in Sudbury, coach a minor bantam team, and we're noticing that these kids really want to start focusing on hockey right away. Like, do you think there's a benefit with playing more sports and start focusing a little later down the line?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think it's just, for me, not that I'm old school and the way I was raised, but I think there's a time and place to focus on your craft but I think when you're young, you got so much development still that you can get from other sports. I think, you're seeing the McDavids and Matthews where you're seeing them on the ice year round and they're doing the skills in the summertime and things like that, which is what the game's turned into now. But I guarantee you when they're 14, 15, they're still playing other sports and doing that stuff. And I thought it was big. I played lacrosse. There's a lot of stuff that you can get from other sports, and also just to mentally take your mind off the game. I think there's some times where parents, might push their kids into. You got to have the love for the game and the passion, and you can burn out a kid by just putting them in hockey around or whatever sport they're in. If you're just doing it year round, I know you have to get better at it, and that's how you become the best at your craft. But you just want to enjoy it and never have that passion go away. So playing other sports, then coming back to hockey was almost like an excitement because now you're back in hockey. So that's how I felt, and that's how I grew up with it.
Exactly. Yeah. Well said. Let's talk about, so you're born in Buffalo. When did you actually move to Sudbury? And then a part two to the question is, what do you like so much about the city that makes you keep coming back home in the off season?
Yeah. So obviously we were all of us kids were born in Buffalo. My dad was playing for the Sabres, and we moved away, I think when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I would say. The first move, my dad kind of after his career did a little bit of coaching stints. I think he was with the Toronto Maple Leafs farm team, I think in St. John's for a little bit, but we always kind of stayed in Buffalo as our hub. And then my dad got a coaching job in Colorado, so we went for Colorado for 3.5, 4 years. And then from there, he got the head coaching job in Hershey, which was the farm team for the Avalanche at the time. So we went from Buffalo to Colorado, Hershey. Hershey were there for 5 years, and then we moved to Sudbury for good. When I was about 11. So I still had a chunk of, living in the States, but the years of developing in a hockey player situation, it was really took place in Sudbury. And we all through that time of me 0 to 11, we always went back to Sudbury in the summer. And it was just to go visit family. And we didn't have a place yet permanently, but we'd always go stay, the Italian thing where you go stay with all your cousins. You spend a week with one aunt, you spend a week with another aunt. People got sick of us, but when the Filipinos came to town, it was about a month and a half in Sudbury, and it was for the summers. And so it always kind of felt like Sudbury was home for us. And yeah, so it was 11 when I moved to Sudbury, and I fell in love with the summers when I was young. The lake, we live on Long Lake now, just in the south end of Sudbury. So we just love that it's a small town. It's everyone's so friendly. Everyone's knows each other, and yeah, I think it's something too, that longevity of your career. I think you need to unwind in the summertime, and you need to get away. And I feel like Sudbury does that for myself, and I can speak on Nick's behalf too. We talked about it before, where you come back home and you're with family, and you unwind, and you're able to kind of recharge to get ready for the next season, because the seasons are so grueling and tough on you. But it just, that's what we fell in love with Sudbury. It's just the lakes, the fishing, the outdoor stuff, you just can't beat it. And we always love coming back home, and we have so much family back there and friends. So it's always great to see them.
Love it. Love it.
So moving into a little bit of the OHL days, Marcus, you're drafted by the Wolves in the second round to the OHL, coming into a team under your father's coaching, and obviously Nick just recently leaving the team before you coming in. What did it feel like playing for them and getting drafted by that organization?
Yeah, it was really, really cool experience. I think, I've seen Nick go through it, made it a little bit easier what to expect. I already saw the fights I brought home, my dad and Nick, after games that my dad and Nick played bad. I knew what to expect. So I was like, okay, I know I'm not going to play great, and I'm going to have one of these nights where my dad's probably losing it on me at the kitchen table, but it is what it is. So, but it was a great experience. I mean, you always look back at the end of your career, your junior career, and you just wonder, what if I didn't play in Sudbury, what it would be like to go live with a billet family. So I was very fortunate to stay at home and just, get home cooked meals and go to the school of choice that I wanted, which was St. Ben's.
So, baby.
So I'm lucky that I was in that situation, because you see a lot of these guys that come in, and it's different. I never got that experience where I had to move away from home at the age of 15. That's difficult. A lot of guys. So I was lucky. And then, just to be playing for Sudbury, it was the best, obviously some of the best years of my hockey career to date. And it's just, juniors was a lot of fun. You have a lot of good times with, you're a teenager, you think you know it all, you don't.
Oh yeah.
But there's just the bus rides, the long trips, all that stuff. I think it really, molded me into the player that I am, and just the history that Sudbury has. I think just playing in that Sudbury arena, I still, to this day, some of the best atmospheres in junior hockey is in Sudbury arena. And we, I think my brother's run where they went to the OHL finals against Plymouth Whalers, it was something to see. I've never seen it before, where, standing room only, and there's about 6,000 max in that rink, and it was packed, and it was some of the best hockey. And it was just the city itself was such a great small community to play for, but it's just a hockey community. So it would then to be captain to end it off, it was really cool for me. But the whole coaching experience with my dad was, it definitely helped me get better, and definitely not a father player mentality where I'm getting boosted in the lineup. That's not how I had to work extra harder, and I think that made me a better player, and kind of molded me in the player I am now. So but my dad, I just because he's my dad, I think I look at my father as a really good coach too, and I think he had a lot of respect too, as from all the teammates that I had. He was the highly touted kind of coach in the OHL at the time too. So to play for him was something that helped my career big time.
Yeah, he was definitely a great coach, and you talk about where you got to wear the captain that year. The first couple of years you were steady, 29, 30 points, and then you have a huge season, 2010-11. You had 59 points, 47 games. What was the big change for you to make this kind of leap? Like you shot off right in that season.
Yeah, I think it was kind of the mentality of that summer. I did a lot more off-season training and stuff like that. And I remember we're going back to Buffalo's camp and having a really good camp actually. And I actually stayed. I think I had a preseason game. I think, and then I got sent back to juniors, and it was like this was my last year. And I don't know. It was really weird. It was just like, you kind of get put in situations and playing maybe more power play, things like that. And our team was, my first year was obviously they went all the way, so they were rebuilding. So I feel like our team was actually a better team, and that helped me. I was playing with some really good players. We picked up some really good players too. So I don't know. It was just a weird thing. I was a captain. I just felt like I just had to go out and play, and that year ended up being the World Juniors, and I get picked on that team, and it just, the confidence started building. So I never really looked back after that. And that year was obviously the best in points and just the year in general and juniors. But really, I knew it was my last year. I knew I was turning pro eventually, so I wanted to have the best year, and I just wanted to play. And that the confidence just kind of built after that.
Yeah, and you gave it was so much fun to watch. Just like a boy, men against boys out there, like hammering guys. I remember the World Juniors. So, getting into the World Juniors, you got to play with Zach Cassian. Like when you went into the World Juniors and you heard that you're gonna probably play on a line with Zach Cassian. Like, did you know you guys were gonna go out there and bully guys? Because I remember like the first game, I think you sent one of the Swedish players from like the hash mark into the corner. It was like one of the biggest hits I've ever seen. It was unreal.
Yeah. No, it was really cool. I mean, obviously me and Zach were both drafted to Buffalo too. So
yeah,
it was kind of like getting labeled as the Bash Brothers. Like it was one of those things, So it was, and then to be playing in Buffalo for the World Juniors was just, luck of the draw, but just, it was an unbelievable experience. And it was just, that our team Canada, and, if it wasn't for the Russians and the whole collapse game, it was unbelievable team we had. And it was so much fun playing on that. And I think, like you said, you're playing with some amazing players. Zach was, he still is a good player, but at the time too, he was a man among boys too. Like he was almost a guy that I was kind of like shadowing a little bit. He was a little bit more skilled than I was at the time, but he could throw his weight around, he could fight, he could do it all. And obviously World Juniors, no fighting, but we knew that we could intimidate a lot of guys. So I mean, we had Ryan Johansson as our centerman, who was an unbelievable player. So all we really had to do was just get the puck to Joe, and he would do a lot of things with it. So I remember there's some shifts in World Juniors, and you're so pumped up because when you go and hit someone, the whole crowd, all the Canada jerseys rise up. It's like you scored a goal in overtime or something when you hit someone. So it's like sometimes you forgot there was a puck out there. You just had an absolute heyday out there. So it was a lot of fun and definitely a tournament that I'll never forget.
Were there any moments where you wanted to drop the gloves and you just knew you couldn't?
Oh, I mean, there were some scrums. I mean, there was some Russian players that like it got dirty. I remember there was quite a few scrums after, and there was a goal. I think a goalie slashed me in the back of the legs one time, and I was like, but you can't, because I don't know if you I forget the rules, but I don't know if it's like kicked out.
They're strict.
Yeah. So you got to be like, it was, and power play in that tournament is crazy. Like everyone's really good. Like Swedes had a good power play. Finns had a good power play. Like all these teams that you played against, everyone was really good on the power play. So it was a really like tough. You had to be really smart when it comes to penalties in that tournament, because one bad game could be out.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before we move on, that game, that final game, like I forget. I think it was like 10 watching that. It was like the most emotional roller coaster I've ever been a part on. That game, I couldn't even imagine playing in it. That was nuts. The Russians had the gas near the third.
I've taken that to my grave. I swear to God, they had the Russian gas. They had no life for 2 periods, and all of a sudden they come out. They look like the Harlem Globetrotters. They're just all around us. I'm like, these guys are insane. It made no sense. That Tarasenko, Kuznetsov, they had Orlov, they had.
Oh my God,
they were loaded.
They had Panarin, they had all these guys, and then a flick of the switch. It's like they just found it. They found their game, and it was too late for us. We just kind of got into a defensive collapse, and we weren't going after them anymore. And then before you know it, Russians could score. That's one thing I know. It was 5 bing bang boom in the back of our net. So it is. And that's one thing about the World Juniors, is that it's almost like any team can win it. I know it's always Canada as the big team, or Team USA. It's such a unique tournament because you don't know what country can surprise you. And but then again, we got the silver medal, but an experience of a lifetime for sure.
Yeah, nonetheless, you definitely made us proud. And here comes the first piece, memorabilia. Got this baby right here. I remember getting that when I was 10. I was so amped. Marcus
That is
Foligno
awesome.
signed poster. Had it up in my room for a while. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Thanks for holding on to that, making me feel good about myself.
Oh, absolutely. That's never going anywhere. I got a Nick jersey right up here. I got a Bertuzzi jersey to the right. All I need is a Marcus now. I need a Marcus.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll get that on.
He sleeps with that poster underneath his bed, Marcus. Underneath his pillow, he pets it whenever you score a goal. Have a couple.
Oh man,
I love showing that off.
Yeah.
So we just talked about the World Juniors. Are you a type of guy that like watches since you've played? Like from you being in the NHL now, I'm like there's USA guys, there's Canada guys on your team. Do you have like little bets going on with who's gonna win? And did you watch this year at all?
Yeah. We have the new Russian on our team, Kirill Kaprizov, who's a stud, and we had a good little wager on the Russian game, which Canada absolutely blew him out of the water this tournament. So it was good. I was able to take his money, then bet on another U.S. Canada game, and then I ended up giving it back to the Americans. So I always watch it. It's always been something that's always been like I remember watching it. I don't know if it was the year before me or the 2 years before me, when they won in Ottawa. And I just remember watching that. I think that was my second year in the juniors. And, Tavares and those guys were on it, and Hall and Ellis, who I played with too. And you just, they just had so many good players, and it was just such an entertaining game. And the rivalry between Team USA and Team Canada is something so special. So I grew up watching World Juniors, and still to this day, like just in the bubble in Edmonton that they just had, still watched it religiously. So it's a lot of fun hockey, and you're going to see these kids eventually in this league too. A lot of those World Junior kids are signed or going to get signed, and they'll be, you see Bo Byram, who's on it, and he's in Colorado now, so I'll play with him the next 2 weeks against them 2 weeks later after the tournament. So a lot of good studs that come out of that tournament and are usually NHL ready. So it's always good to kind of just watch and see who's coming in the pipeline.
Cool.
Right.
Love it.
Before we move on to like your career in the NHL, the one question that we always, since we started this podcast, feels like we talk about this every episode, is the debate about the Sudbury Arena, rather to keep it downtown or move it to the Kingsway. Do you have any opinion or thoughts about this? Like where you think is better to move it?
Yeah, it's a tough. I just, I think that the heart of the Sub Arena is downtown. And I think there's just, you take it away from downtown and what's downtown, right? So I just think I think I would love to see our city just come together and work something out where we can just either build a new arena downtown or just enhance it and get something more of a kind of a social aspect more going downtown with a lot more, holding maybe a bigger arena that can hold concerts and just things like that. And entertainment district that would just be downtown to bring more people and bring the life back to downtown. I mean, because I've witnessed it. I've witnessed playing important hockey games in Sudbury Arena, and people come downtown to watch you. And you fill that rink up, and there's a buzz around the arena. There's a buzz around downtown. There's a buzz around the city. And that just goes for the hockey side of it. But there's a lot of other things that can come with it when it comes to entertainment aspect. But I just find that our city loves the game and loves the Sudbury Wolves. And I think it'd be the smart choice is just to keep it downtown and keep our downtown alive.
I love that take. I love that. That's the first take I've heard about downtown that I actually liked, and there's no bias actually on that.
No, there's such a bias. It's because Marcus is saying
no, I actually agree with it though. It does make sense. It's just like you said, just something needs to get built. Wherever it is, it doesn't matter. But I do think like downtown needs a big cleanup before we do anything. It's such a mess right now. So hopefully some gets done. Our producer has a question. Mace Savage is going to chime in here about the arena actually.
Hey Marcus, this is a burning question for us. We're concerned about the taxidermied wolf that hangs from the rafters at Sudbury Arena. If they enhance the arena, do you want to see it kept? Or if they move the arena, do they need to bring it with them? Or is that something that needs to retire with that original arena?
No, I think you got to keep that thing going.
Oh yeah.
I think you got to maybe make it bigger. I don't know. Maybe get a bigger wolf or something. You know, I don't know if that's allowed, but no, I think that's got to come out, and or maybe not just a guy on a pulley string pulling it to the middle of the ice. Maybe we can advance the technology side of it, but that's something that is one of the things that I've talked to guys playing against us, and they're like, "Oh my god, like we hated when you guys scored because this, the wolf would come out of the corner and
right on the bench."
Like that's Sudbury Wolves right there. That's a tradition that's got to be got to be kept. So yeah, like you said, if it new arena, that thing's got to get taken off the hooks, put on a new one, and put it in the new arena, or yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe have it drop from underneath the jumbotron or something. I don't know, something cool
I like
it. Because one section you can't actually see the wolf, like the jumbotron hole, like it's in the way. So I think the corner across from it, you can't see it. So this wolf's got to come down somehow. It's got to have laser, light show on it, and then it goes back up or something. So
I love it.
You got to keep it. You got to keep that wolf.
That's right. We're gonna get Marcus on the marketing team for the Sudbury Wolves.
That's right. That's what I'll do when I'm done playing the game.
That's what I like to hear, baby. Awesome. One more question before we get into the NHL. St. Ben's. So I remember walking in there in high school. I think there's a picture of you on the soccer team. Were you the goalie for the soccer team?
I was a goalie. I chose the less running. Less running was good for me. So I was like, perfect. I'll be the goalie.
Oh, I love it.
I had a blast. That was one of the best. I had Mr. Posturero as a coach,
my God.
And Mr. Urso.
Yeah.
And Mr. Rocca would join us too. Frank Rocca at the time was out there, and we had a blast. Like that was one of the we had some all your buddies kind of just play all the sports that you would play with. So we would go down to, oh my God, what was it, like Watertown or something, like down south, and you play these like unbelievable teams from Toronto. We get destroyed, but we had a great time. So any chance to miss a Friday of school, I was all for it.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Posturero, what a character, what a teacher. He was something else. Oh yeah. Okay, let's talk about your off-season skates. So, because we like to talk about the North, we like to talk about Sudbury. How the off-season skates here? What's the young talent looking like?
I mean, yeah, it's been. I noticed it's been getting a lot better. I think there was, it's funny because you see yourself coming in. Like I remember Derek McKenzie at the time was running our skates, and Andrew Burnett, and I'm a young guy, so I'm like, as a young guy who's about 16, 17, I would come out with my brother. My brother would kind of drag me to these skates to get me, the experience with these guys. And these guys were unbelievable and snapping around and the fast pace. And, as a young guy, you're just worried about putting a tape-to-tape pass on one of the professional guys, sticks, so you don't get laser eyes after, like, put on my tape, young kid. And then now I'm in that position. So it's funny to see how it goes full circle. But our skates have been great probably the last couple of summers. I mean, there's a lot of kids. I mean, I'm tough with names right now, but there's a lot of good young kids that I've seen, with whether they're playing Nickel Capitals or I think there was one kid who played for London Knights last year. I forget his name, but,
Max McHugh.
Yeah, he came out with us a couple of times, and you're just starting to see these kids starting to get the talent side of it, and that's the thing. Like, not that there was a drop off, but like Nick and I and Derek McKenzie were kind of like the three pros at the time, and then there was junior kids, so there was some American Hockey League players, and then Bertuzzi came along, and he's a great talent and great player. So we all kind of skate. What we usually do is we have a couple skates over at Countryside, and then we do RHP for like a 3-on-3 little games just to have some fun. But it's been great. We have a lot of good guys that come out. Some of the Laurentian Voyageurs, the men's hockey team. We have a couple guys from there that came out with us. So we have a good skate, and we try to skate a little bit at the end of the practices to keep us honest. And it's good. We enjoy it, and I know that everyone kind of gets Nick's now. Derek now is retired, so Nick's now the guy running the skates. So it's kind of funny to see how that goes, but. Yeah, they're really good, and the guys come out and they work pretty hard. So it's good for us to kind of have that, and we all kind of push each other. So it's been good.
Yeah, definitely. I got one of my buddies that does those skates, Dario Belgio. I don't know if that rings a bell.
Yeah.
from Komoka, but he's from Sudbury guy. I got to give him a shout out. He's telling me about some of the stories from off-season skates. So I give him a little shout out there. We'll send it over to Tom.
Yeah, another guy that we have to give a quick shout out to is one of our first guests on the show, Marcus. Damien Giroux is actually just recently drafted by Minnesota.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on Damien? Because he, from me playing with him growing up, and Alex as well, he was the talk of the town, and he's the only one that's made it at a professional level from our age, really. How long do you think for him before he cracks into the league? Because he's a point per game right now in the AHL and looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, you know what? He's one of those guys that just reminds me, like, I think he's one of the biggest hearts. Like, he has the will to make it to the NHL.
Right.
And I mean, the guy works his tail off. That's another guy. We skate with him all the time, but forgot about him. But he is. It's great to have him in the same organization. I mean, I'm trying to help him out just with staying on him and checking his stats and just seeing how he's texting him quite a bit. So he's one of the greatest kids. He's such a nice guy. You want to see guys like that have success. But I mean, he's done it. He's had great numbers in the Ontario Hockey League. I know our organization is really big on him. Talking to some of the guys that kind of oversee him, we have two guys that work with, all the prospects. One's Brad Bombardier and Matt Hendricks, who's an ex-teammate of mine. Kind of just bump, feedback off those guys and ask him about G, how he's doing, and they absolutely love him. His work ethic is probably the thing that separates him. Yeah. Even in our skates, like, he doesn't quit on pucks. For a little guy, he's so strong. And then, he always works on the skill part. So I would love to see him up here in a year or two or whatever it takes. But I know that they're probably going to want to put him in the A and groom him that way. And, I went through that same stuff. Yep. It really is. AHL is a really good development league. And I think he's going to have a lot of success. But I won't be shocked if it's not too long since when we see him in a Wild jersey.
Yeah, he's just salt of the earth. He's such a great kid. We had him on the pod, one of our OG interviews. He was awesome. We loved him. We'll get him back on with an update from Iowa too.
He's got to get his jib fixed though.
Yeah. Clean that up.
Taking so long.
No, he keeps it though. His girlfriend likes it apparently, so he keeps it.
Oh, jeez. Maybe he's got the AHL medical insurance now, so maybe he'll get that taken care of.
Right. There you go. Medical insurance. There you go. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Mace, you have a question before we go?
Yeah, Mace's gonna come firing in here.
Yeah, one more quick from me, Marcus. My little cousins Ryan and Red worked out with you guys the last few summers before they moved down to Detroit. They told me, yeah.
Ryan and Rouge.
Yeah, Rouge. And Rouge was telling me of a special relationship with a certain bike at LU, a wind bike, speed bike, Sheila.
Yeah, the assault bike.
The assault bike. They said you broke it. Bike. They said you broke it one time and gave them the hall pass for the whole summer because it just never got fixed.
We were doing like something up on Laurentian, like the 200-meter track upstairs, and Cal McGibbon, who's our longtime trainer, our testing that we do with Minnesota Wild, we do a 2-mile Airdyne bike test, and it's just how fast you can get to 2 miles in this Airdyne bike, which has a big fan on it, and it sucks. But you have to get like anything under 4 minutes is amazing, and then like usually guys are like 4:30, 4:20 or whatever, and so we try to get 4 minutes like right on the dot. And me and Damien Giroux were doing it, and I remember G went, and then I went after him, and then I think I just it was like 3-minute mark, and like one of the chain just like snapped off it. So, and then I remember, Red and Ryan were telling me like Cal hasn't fixed it or something, doesn't have the parts for it. So they're like, we haven't done the Airdyne bike. Thanks a lot, man. We hate it because they're supposed to do like once a week. So yeah, that's right. Ryan and Rouge are awesome guys, man. We had a blast, and then those guys skate with us too, and we worked out. We had Ryan come to the house a couple of times at my brother's place down there. His dad would drop him off on the pontoon. So it was perfect on the lake, and he'd come work out at Nick's house. And so we had a lot of good times with Ryan too.
Oh yeah, a lot of action on Long Lake. You won't say names, but someone's always honking their horn in front of your Foligno compound, we call it.
Yeah, maybe telling us to shut our music off or something. We like to Nick leaves his speakers on all the time. He probably doesn't know. people trying to fish and enjoy the night, and there's blaring music, country music going all the time.
Oh, that is all time. That is all time. Love it. All right, let's move on. We're gonna head into Buffalo, but just to tie in with the LU story, here comes the next piece of memorabilia, my last one. So LU, I remember, I forget how old I was, but you were training at LU. I think I was there for like a soccer camp or something. I was just waiting in the main lobby, and here comes Nick and Marcus. And I got my Nona beside me. I'm like, oh my God. I go, Nona. I go, that's Marcus and Nick Foligno. Oh, you go. She's Italian. Eh? Go say hi. So, and I had a Wolves hat at the time on too. So here's the next piece right here. We got a signed Wolves hat from Nick and Marcus Foligno. That one.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so had to put that one in there. That was a good one. Feels like I met you like
we're in the main entrance to going up to the stairs of the gym.
Yeah, it was like those couches right before the gym. Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. That's awesome.
Good times. Good. I met you like 20 times, I think, at some point.
That signature looks like it's changed a little bit now. So that's when I wrote the whole Marcus out in perfect cursive.
That's right. That's we got the original one. I'm gonna have to sell that.
Yeah, that's legit. That's on the back of all my binders in high school.
Oh, I love it. All right. Let's move in. We'll move into Buffalo. So you drafted by your hometown. Your dad played there. What was it like heading in there and playing for Buffalo? It must have been unreal.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, it was a dream come true, obviously, to get drafted in the NHL, and then to have it we were in Montreal for the draft, and I just went because it was Montreal's, close to Sudbury in driving terms, but not that close. But it was close enough to want to go. And I knew I wasn't a first rounder or anything like that, but just the experience, and my agent wanted me to brought me along, and I'm so happy I did. I mean, I think looking at it, everyone looks at the draft and leading up to those years, and now I think a lot of guys go to it, but he's kind of just for the first rounders, right? Just for the TV, and it was an awesome experience. We spent a couple of days in Montreal with my family, and I went in the fourth round to Buffalo, and still did the walk down the steps. They had a jersey with me, so you still felt like like you were getting once your name gets called, you feel like you went first overall. So it felt amazing. And then, it almost kind of didn't hit me at the time. I just remember Buffalo was up, they picked me, and I was like, oh, sweet, Buffalo. Then I was to walk in the halls in Montreal and in the hallways down below and doing all the media stuff after. I'm like, holy crap. We lived in Buffalo, born in Buffalo. My dad's all the memories started coming back, and you're like, this is overwhelming, but it's awesome. And just to have that. I mean, the fans were excited too, with my dad's name being there, and now having another Foligno. I think that was really cool too. I think everyone had a little bit of buzz around it. And I was excited. It was just Lindy Ruff was the coach at the time, played with my dad. It was just such a cool experience. And to have the way my career started off in Buffalo, on a positive note, and obviously we did a little bit of a rebuild, but when my time in Buffalo was amazing, and it kind of shaped me into the player I am now. And it was just an unbelievable moment for my dad, my family, and I loved every moment in Buffalo and my time there for sure.
That's so cool. And your first goal, sorry, because I remember this, it was hilarious because Nick did the Foligno leap after his first one. So then you go in to Ottawa, you score against Nick, but you didn't even know that you scored, I think. What happened there?
I remember taking a defenseman down and getting the puck, and then I went to go pass it to, I think, Drew Stafford, who was coming to the slot, and then Daniel Alfredson, who's not a bad player, he it goes off his skate, but it's really weird. Went up in the air and then over Ben Bishop and hit the back and trickled in. But Drew Stafford comes through and slashes Ben Bishop almost in the face. So I thought he hit the puck.
Yeah.
So I was whatever. I was so happy because we tied the game, but I'm I don't know if it's my goal or not. So I'm not jumping, and that'd be not my goal. That'd be terrible to look back and jump for a goal it's not even yours. So I just celebrated, and then when I realized it was mine, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot. I should have jumped or something. But it was I did the next game or 2 games later, I ended up scoring against Colorado from an second goal, and I ended up doing it in front of my dad, who was at the game.
Oh, that's awesome.
It worked out, but it was I was just so happy just to be able to contribute at the time, whether it was an assist or just to be on the ice for a plus, I'll take it. But it was pretty cool to score against obviously against Ottawa, my brother on the team too, so that made it even better.
Yeah, that second goal was unbelievable too. You just came crashing into the net to like a 180 in the air and went in. It was unreal.
I think I had my first 2 goals. I didn't even shoot the puck yet. I don't know how it just went in. It just bounces off people's sticks and my stick, and oh man, it was a mess.
They don't ask
But I'll
how,
take it.
baby. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's right.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Alex, you've been on YouTube and Elite Prospects for Marcus for the last 6 days since he's told us he's gonna
Oh,
come
this is all memory. This is all memory. This is I watched this guy growing
the
up.
number one fan. Marcus is gonna bring you on road trips and stuff now, just so you can watch.
Oh my God.
The hype guy. The hype
hype
guy.
guy.
That's what we'll go with.
Marcus, now you're in Minnesota. You get traded there. How would you compare your time so far with Minnesota to the days in Buffalo?
I think it's different in some ways, just like the maturity of, you know, the way I am now, like versus my younger years were in Buffalo. Now I'm a little bit more of a veteran and they're in Minnesota now. So I find like I matured a little bit more with my game in Minnesota. And Minnesota almost, you know, kind of made me mature. I think when you get traded, you kind of, it's always a little bit of a wake-up call, but you know, we were going from a team that was a rebuild team to now I'm on a team with Minnesota who's, you know, made the playoffs the last 70 seasons. And you know, they've had the leadership group with, you know, Mikko Koivu, Ryan Suter, Zach Parise.
Right.
It's a legitimate team. So I think when I came into Minnesota, I just, you know, the is kind of do whatever it takes to win type mentality. So I just kind of wanted to fit in and play and make sure that I you know, kind of walk the walk instead of do the talk. So that's another thing. I just wanted to play and kind of gain guys' trust. And my first year in Minnesota wasn't anything, you know, special either. It was a lot of hard work and trying to get the trust from the coaching staff, because, you know, when you get traded, coaches don't really trust, they rely on the guys that they had last year, or, you know, the guys are used to. So, you know, I just took it upon myself to work as hard as I could, started penalty killing, started doing things that, you know, role playing almost to help better the team. And it's kind of taken off a little bit quicker of my career here in Mini, and now being, you know, 29 years old and in my ninth or 10th season, it's been pretty amazing. It's been a pretty cool journey, but loving my time in Minnesota and just being able to be a veteran here has been great.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Go. Yeah. Tom.
yeah, just since Alex is just showing off signatures as he has from you and all that stuff. One story that I have from you, Marcus, is I'm not sure if you remember me and the team that we were there 2 years ago, 2018, Major Midget Nickel Cap. So we were there to get a little far and play in the little Minnesota tournament. That was the last year I played. I get heckled by the boys all the time because I mentioned the Telus Cup reference because we hosted nationals there. So I'm seeing Mason's already laughing. We have to clip that. It's perfect. The fans love it when I bring up the nationals, but the fan base, Marcus. So we ended up watching the game there after you gave us a tour, which we thank you for.
Yeah.
The fans were nuts for a regular season game. Like how is it different from the fans, like regular season compared to playoffs? Because I assume the playoffs atmosphere is nuts.
Yeah, it was insane. Do you remember what team we were playing that night?
You guys are playing the Islanders that night.
The Islanders. And then, I think we won that game, right?
Yeah, you guys won like 4-1. It wasn't close.
Yeah. So that was that's another thing about Minnesota is like the XL Energy Center, this arena, it's like it's just got a different atmosphere in some ways. I mean, it's kind of around the league, it's known to kind of have like an intimidating kind of aspect to it, but our fans are very passionate, and it gets pretty loud. So the only thing that was different in playoffs was just like playoffs amps it up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Our fans, when, like, you know, obviously when we're playing well and the rink gets going and they love it. They love seeing the work ethic. They love seeing the hits. They love seeing the goals. Obviously, who doesn't? But it's always a thing. Even when I was in Buffalo, coming to Minnesota and playing, it's a tough place to always play. So now having that on your side, like they're just passionate fans. Minnesota's kind of like, before I came to Minnesota, I always knew Minnesota was kind of like this hockey mecca, like where the development of hockey was like
It's underrated. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and there's so many guys from Minnesota that are in the NHL. It's crazy. Like Minnesota hockey like breeds hockey NHL players, and I got that first taste when like I was in Pee Wee's. We had the Silver Stick tournament, and I've told this story a couple of times to some people, but we ended up playing Edina Hornets, which is the Minnesota team, Edina Hornets, and we got roasted by them in the Silver Stick finals, like 4-0. But it was like it could have been like 10-0. But I always I'm like, ever since that day, I'm like, I hate Edina. I hate Minnesota hockey. Like these kids are like, they're spoiled kids. We're a Sudbury team. Like to go all the way in Silver Stick was an accomplishment, but like this team just mopped us like with them. Like, just washed us with them. And then so now I'm in Minnesota and I live in Edina. So like it's just one of those things I was just like, what is happening here? Like now I'm all for Minnesota hockey. It's just crazy how it kind of goes that way. But we have just such passionate fans. And I think the one thing too is that they're pretty smart with the game. Like I think that there's a lot of knowledge around it. Like the high school hockey tournament that we have at the XL.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Site. It's like it brings people like not even in the state to come see hockey. It's insane. Scouts are all over the place. Like it's honestly 18,000 people watching high school hockey, which I'm thinking like high school hockey is like St. Ben's hockey. I'm like, who is coming out there watching St. Ben's hockey? Like I'm trying to picture that, but like states hockey is just crazy. But Minnesota is huge. It's almost like the bean pod or something, but for high school. So it's the knowledge of hockey in Minnesota is pretty high.
Yeah, unreal. And then we got to you got to wear, and you're getting to wear number 17, which I think is a big number in the family. What's like the significance of 17? Why did your dad choose that number?
That's honestly a good question. I don't know why. I never really asked him it. I think he just always liked the number. I think he I don't know if it was from like maybe when he watched someone back in the day growing up that there was number 17 that he idolized. But my dad was 17, and then I mean, right from the get-go, I can never imagine, like, when you're a squirt novice or whatever it is, like, I remember just always trying to get 17. My mom's favorite number was 16. So 17 was available. We always went to 16. And then, my dad was 17. His numbers retired in Sudbury. Nick was 16. And then I chose 71 just to flip it because my dad was obviously 71 in Toronto when he played with the Leafs. So,
yeah.
I always grew up loving the number. And, yeah, it was nice to go from Buffalo being with 82. I just didn't want to change my number because I think it's tough to make a jersey change when you're already 82 for like a season and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I had some success early in my career with 82, so I said I'm just keeping it. I'll make my own thing. But when I got availability in Minnesota, I took it without hesitation.
Awesome. Good stuff.
The next question I have for you, Marcus, is that everyone in Sudbury knows you as the nickname Moose. How did that nickname start?
That was honestly from like my family. Like I don't know if it was like my sisters or my aunt or something like that. But growing up like playing hockey, I would say I was a little bit uncoordinated. I'm bigger than Nick, so I was growing faster than Nick was. So I think everyone was comparing me from Nick playing hockey to me, and like Nick might have been a little bit more fluid skater, and I was more falling down the ice, getting back up, hitting guys, falling down. So. I was uncoordinated like a moose, so I wasn't like Mark Messier nicknamed Moose. No, this was like you're uncoordinated and gangly like a moose. So this is a different nickname in a way, but it just stuck, and like cousins of mine don't even call me Marcus; they all call me Moose. So it's kind of funny. Like, and then I had it, it just stems. Nick calls me around, Moose around hockey guys, and guys started calling me it, and it kind of stuck, and it's just kind of funny to. Everyone here on my team now still calls me it. So it's just one of those things. Nicknames are huge in hockey. So I got stuck with the Moose, which I'll take it. Could be called a lot worse than that. So.
Oh yeah, big time. I love Moose.
I couldn't imagine your nickname if you made it to NHL. I'm not sure what it'd be.
Probably meatball.
Marcus, how do you kill time for road trips, like on the plane? Are you a big Netflix guy? You watch movies a lot?
Yeah, huge. I'm restarting The Sopranos right now.
Oh baby,
so that's one thing. But yeah, I've been doing that.
You guys even allowed playing cards on the plane? How's that working?
Yeah. I don't know if I think we're allowed to. We all just have to have your masks on. But yeah, like you said, I don't know how that works. But yeah, guys play cards. I used to, and I just there's a lot of card sharks in this league, so I stay away from that. There's some guys that can just weasel their way into taking money. So yeah, I mean, pass the time with Netflix. I bought the Nintendo Switch, so I've been doing that stuff. So yeah, I haven't played video games in forever, but when I get alone time, the whole plane ride, I'll be doing, like, we got Mario Party. We got a lot of those guys. We have guys do Nintendo Switch and stuff. So we got a pretty good game going with some of the guys and Mario Kart and things like that. So, but other than that, I mean, it's TV shows. I got 2 daughters now, so I try to just do sleep. Napping is nice for me right now.
Yeah.
So
Dad life.
That's it. Yeah, the dad life. But it's definitely different this year. I mean, you're stuck in your room. You're usually, you go on the road, you're going to your favorite restaurants, you're getting out in whatever city you're in and enjoying it a little bit. So, but no, you can't do that this year. So it's stuck to the TV and stuck to TV shows.
Now you're stuck in a room talking to us.
Yeah. And now I'm sure you guys. Hey, thanks for helping me pass the time, guys. I appreciate it.
Hey, anytime. That's what I just want to ask. Is there a hard cap on time? Like, we're almost done wrapping it up.
All good.
Okay,
Whenever.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
No worries.
Okay, so now we'll get into some general questions. You fought like every tough guy in this league. Who's the toughest guy you fought? Like, I saw you fought Gudis, Wilson,
Revo.
and Revo. So
Yeah. Probably Ryan Reeves, because I mean he's a bear almost. Like he's just a big dude. So I mean, that was a quick one. I think he just threw me on my back and I said, thank God. So it's over with. So I think that's the way we were raised. You just got to sometimes answer the bell and show up. And there's been a lot of great fights and there's been some ones where you get tagged and that's just how it goes. But I mean, when you're talking about some tough guys, I mean, I fought Sean Thornton, who was probably one of the most tactical fighters that I fought. He was in Florida at the time, so maybe it was good that was towards the end of his career a little bit. But he was one of those things where, like, I think he hit me with like 3 lefts in like half a second, and I was like, holy smokes, like this is different.
Yeah.
So, and we ended up like breaking apart and getting back into it. So there's always there's some tough guys in this league, and more so when I first started. Obviously, it's obviously changed a little bit the game, but there's some guys that I did stay away from. There's some guys that were just meant to be for the toughness, like the McGrattens and
oh yeah.
Oh man, you had some big strong boys that would go at it. And, I was lucky. I played with John Scott in Buffalo, so it was kind of nice to have like that enforcer on your team. It would kind of take some pressure off you. You didn't have to go after the big guys every night, or in case one of the big guys were chomping at the bit, you didn't have to answer it sometimes. But watching those guys throw, like those guys are out of my weight class for sure. But I mean, George Peros, John Scott fight, I've seen that twice, and I was on a line with John Scott. I think I was 20 feet or 10 feet away from watching these guys hit each other in the face, and it's not soft. It's not pillows being thrown. That way. But it's always something that I think has a part in the game. And I know it's been a controversial topic in some ways, but not that there's policing of the game, but I just think you take it out, and I think you're seeing a lot more cheap shots, a lot more injuries, things like that, just to star players, to whatever. And it's just something that, watching my dad grow up, he had a couple fights back in the day too, but it almost kind of, the character of the team kind of builds a morale a little bit too of it. So it is what it is, and I always think that's going to have a spot in the game.
Oh yeah, it definitely polices it. I think 100%. And you've answered the bell countless times. We listened to the John Scott interview. He was hilarious. That guy is hilarious. Yeah. His podcast is unbelievable.
He's hilarious. He's a good dude. He's probably one of the funnier teammates I've ever had. So
yeah, that wrist align and jockstrap story was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I've never witnessed anything like that before. That was hilarious. I couldn't believe Ristolainen did that to John Scott. Put his jock in his face to begin
as a rookie.
And then just to see Ristolainen in the stick room lying on the floor passed out after John Scott chokes him out was probably the funniest thing. I think we had to get the smelly salt and wake him up too. And then we had like practice in like 30 minutes. Like this was right before practice. Like I'm pretty sure Reese Delander was like still not knowing where the heck he was. So that was awesome.
That is something else. Oh, that is awesome. I love that.
How's your golf game, Marcus? Because from what I've heard from Alex and Mason that you're a member at the Ottawa, how's the off-season golf looking?
Yeah, that it's in progress. It's a work in progress right now. I think I'm going to be really good when I'm like 50 something. You know, that's my goal. I'm not going to peak right now. I would love to get out a lot more, but you know what? I just love the game. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you guys, I'm sure, enjoy it too. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. You beat yourself up over it, and then you're back at it again. Like it's
Exactly.
just like a funny game.
It's a social piece too. You're there with.
It is. Like I don't go looking to break. If I shoot low, great. But if I hit some good shots, I'm happy. But it's more just to get out, enjoy it with some buddies, and have a few laughs. But I mean, the thing that I'm enjoying now, and like we're lucky to be doing what we're doing, is that you meet a lot of pretty interesting people along the way playing in the National Hockey League, and the amount of hookups that you can kind of get with some unbelievable country, like these golf courses that are down in the States is amazing. So I'm more like for that. Like I did Pinehurst with a buddy trip at the end of the year. We did like a team trip. And that was probably one of the cooler things. I went to Greenbrier one time with my brother and a couple of the guys. Like, there's just these places that are like history, and these courses are like, hey, I love the Idlewild.
Yeah,
these courses are just like insane. Like,
second to none.
So that's like almost like that. I love golf for that reason too. So just to get out and try to, not bucket list items, but there's some courses out there that'll be interesting to play.
Cool. Love it. One more question to before we get to Fast Five, and you can answer this one quickly. Do you see yourself coaching like your dad post-career? Do you see yourself in the type of role like that?
Yeah. I mean, that's something that you always kind of think about. I think, whenever I'm done playing, hopefully it's many years down the road, but I don't know. I think we just have a passion for the game that I think you always want to be in it and doing something with it. And I think coaching would be something that I'd be really interested in doing. And, obviously when you're done playing, you want to take some time off, but yeah, I don't know. I want to stay busy. I don't want to be, I probably go a little crazy. I'll probably drive my wife pretty crazy if I don't do anything, stay at the house all day and twiddle my thumbs. So I think that'd be something that I'd be really interested in, and just, you make such great friendships, in the NHL, and, a lot of guys playing juniors and stuff like that. So, it'd be pretty cool maybe to one day come back home to Sudbury and try to maybe coach Sudbury one day. That's always something that you think about, but anywhere. Yeah. I think I would try to just stay in the game as long as I can.
Love it. All right, let's go. We'll tee Tom up here. So this is the Fast Five here, Marcus. So 5 questions. First thing that comes to the top of your head, you answer it. They're not too difficult. And we'll send it over to Tommy for the Fast Five.
Yeah. So whatever answer comes to your head, you say not too difficult, Alex. We've had guests in the past that took a while, but we'll see. we'll see how smart Marcus is.
Was it Giroux? Probably was Giroux. Eh?
Oh yeah. Because he has that one tooth missing, so it's a lisp. So we had to ask him to say the answer. First question is favorite Sudbury outdoor rink.
Long Lake.
Perfect.
The one down the
Favorite high school teacher.
I think Mr. Postorero.
Okay. Favorite city to travel to on the road.
I'm a big Nashville guy.
Nashville.
All right.
Country. Okay. If you're a lead actor in a movie, what's the movie called? 17 again.
Lead actor in the movie. What's the movie called?
Yeah. If you're the lead actor. This one's a little tough.
Oh man.
Bad Boys for Life,
Which
part
one?
3.
I'm gonna go with Anchorman.
Love it. And then last but not least, favorite Sudbury restaurant.
Oh, geez, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with. Oh my God, it's called something different now, but Pat Mario's.
P&N's.
Again.
We got to get a count.
P&N's Cuisina now. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
The stock price just through the roof.
We're good family friends with the Musatzos, so they're awesome people. So we always go there.
like it. Out of everyone we've interviewed, I think it like P&M's is like 99% the answer for favorite.
Really, eh?
Restaurant. Yeah, it's unreal. Good stuff. Okay, so I'll send it over to Tom here for a little conclusion, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Yeah, Alex mentioned in the intro, Marcus, but congratulations on that contract with the Wild as well. And thank you for coming on our show. This is a dream come true. And this is part of the reason why that me, Alex, and Mason started this podcast, is to get you and obviously hopefully your brother down the line on the show. So we wish you and the Wild all the best, and we're rooting for you here in Sudbury.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll piggyback by saying, we talked about it in previous episodes. Who our dream person would be to get on the pod. I said the Foligno, so I'm one of three. So we'll keep going. And I was happy to show you some of that memorabilia too. So that was cool.
Good. Thanks for taking it out underneath your pillow.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Marcus.
Hey, thanks, guys. Stay safe.